whenever she wishes. Put either as a belief or lack of belief, the view held by the claimant fails the Granger criteria and so does not have the protected characteristics of a philosophical belief. Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you, live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. Hashtag I stand with Maya. Hashtag this is not a drill. Of course, social media began exploding on J.K. Rowling immediately, claiming that she once again was making TERF-like statements. Now, is this the first time J.K. Rowling has been a little bit TERFy? Is this the first time? And anyone who doesn't understand that expression, by the way, trans exclusionary radical feminists. So a branch of feminism that believes that trans women are not women and should not be included within the feminist movement. And anyone I think who is a rational intersectional feminist would probably find that view abhorrent. I would hope so. Now, J.K. Rowling's history in this foray is actually long and... Wingaria transphobia. J.K. Rowling confirms stance against transgender women. She has a horrific sordid history with this. J.K. Rowling liking a tweet that said, I was shouted at by men at my first Labour Party meeting, aged 18, because I asked them to remove page 3 calendar. I was told to toughen up, be louder, stronger, dependent. I've not often felt supported. Men in dresses get brocialist solidarity I never had. That's misogyny. J.K. Rowling hitting the like button on a trans women are rapists piece. If you were wondering whether or not to relax as a trans person in the UK, the demonization of Sam Criss and his completely ordinary horrific behavior, sex, the left, and gender identity, liked by J.K. Rowling. No surprise there. Trans rapists are a danger in women's jails. Once again, liked by J.K. Rowling. Hey NSPCC, can you please explain why a children's safeguard charity has hired a porn model as the childline ambassador? It's astonishing decision. Is it worth being canceling direct debts? J.K. Rowling supporting people who are directly associated with TERF rhetoric. They're lying to you. Women are very polite. Literally zero of you pass as women. Very aggressive TERF language there. Just general transphobia. Zero women have penises. You know this. Everyone knows this. No one is buying it. Take your delusional fantasies and fight off out of our space. Why do you hate trans women so much? Inform you, J.K. Rowling has another middle-aged moment, this time following one of the most outrageously transphobic bigots in Britain. How many moments has she had now? 3, 4, more than that? So yeah, when you stack these all one on top of each other, it paints a very, very sad and disgusting image. Of course, following that account, George Soros, the money behind the transgendered movement. Oh, yes. What? Soros on the listed sponsors of the EU trans lobby. All right. So there's a different form of intersectionality going on here. We have a mix of the cabal, the Jewish conspiracy that, of course, they run the world. That's being fused here with the general transphobia. So you're getting all kinds. You're getting all kinds of different takes here. Spicy. The EU transgender lobby is funded by Soros, Steicher, and the US State Department. Open Society, Soros, Akis, John Steicher. Pretty inflammatory account to be following, J.K. Rowling. Not exactly sure what you're thinking here. What does it tell you when one of the top likes is Ian Miles Chong? Very telling where your support lies. You're doing great. Checks out, J.K. Rowling. Right side of history now. Ian Miles Chong is supporting you. You said nothing wrong. Social media is completely overrun by self-righteous bullies who use social justice as a means to intimidate others, especially women, into silence over this issue. Yes, Ian Miles Chong, the feminist we never thought we needed, but now we have. Thank you. Thank you. Great. So, for anyone wondering what exactly was J.K. Rowling supporting here, it was a ruling that Maya Forstater, in this case, the judge ruled. And this is the only piece of good news in this entire thing. It's worth a read. Here are some particularly illuminating passages from the decision. Chromosomes are the structures in which genetic codes are held. The DNA molecules in chromosomes are the genetic code, and the structure provides the genes that affect sex. However, it is increasingly understood that there are not simply genes for particular characteristics. Much depends on how genes are controlled. I was provided in the bundle with an article from the New York Times, Dr. Fausto Sterling, a professor in biology and gender studies, who has noted that, quote, there has been a lot of new scientific research on this topic since the 1950s, but those looking to biology for an easy-to-administer definition of sex and gender can derive little comfort from most of the important of these findings. For example, we now know that rather than developing under the direction of a single gene, the photoembryonic testes or ovaries develop under the direction of opposing gene networks, one of which represses male development while stimulating female differentiation, and the other of which does the opposite. What matters then is not the presence or absence of a particular gene, but the balance of power amongst gene networks acting together or in a particular sequence. This undermines the possibility of using a simple genetic test to determine true sex. Fascinating. Though there is significant scientific evidence that it is wrong, I cannot ignore that the claimant's approach, save in respect of refuting to accept that a gender recognition certificate changes a person's sex for all purposes, is largely that currently adopted by the law, which treats sex as binary as defined on a birth certificate. However, I consider that the claimant's view, in its absolutist nature, is incompatible with human dignity and fundamental rights of others. Yes. She goes so far as to deny the right of a person with a gender recognition certificate to be the sex to which they have transitioned. I do not accept the claimant's contention that the Gender Recognition Act produces a mere legal fiction, or which is already in the public domain. The claimant's position is that even if a trans woman has gender recognition certificate, she cannot honestly describe herself as a woman. That belief is not worthy of respect in a democratic society. It is incompatible with the human rights of others that have been identified and defined by the ECHR and put into effect through the Gender Recognition Act. Oh yes, you love to see it. It is also a sleight of hand to suggest that the claimant merely does not hold the belief that trans women are women. She positively believes that they are men, and will say so whenever she wishes. Put either as a belief or lack of belief, the view held by the claimant fails the Granger criteria, and so does not have the protected characteristics of a philosophical belief. You are losing ground on all fronts. You are on the wrong side of history on this fight. I don't understand where you have to go from here. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the way the tide turns. This is going to be something you continue to see as more judges, and unfortunately you probably won't see it in the conservative judges, so you won't be seeing this anytime soon in the US, but impressive to be seeing it in the UK. Because in the UK currently, and especially the UK media, there's a huge problem with outright bigotry, transphobia, and to see this being handed down it's a win. It is a very, very good thing. It's a fantastic piece of news. Honestly, you'll love to see it. Utterly disappointed with J.K. Rowling. Not in the least surprised. It's really, really shitty. But hey, if anyone who didn't know it now knows, okay? Masks off. J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, is a TERF. Yes, it is absolutely fundamentally true. We know this to be true. Transphobia, livelarium, livigrossum, levidid. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at making up spell names, but it's now irrefutable fact. J.K. Rowling. I mean, the only thing I can really hope is that she's going to change her stance on this, because now she's one of the uber celebrities du jour. And I know I tweeted this out a little while ago. I don't think Hermione would be on the side of history. I think Hermione would definitely be fighting against this. As was my understanding of the character. But, I mean, I did not write the novels. And I know a lot of people are coming out now and saying, what about the outright, anti-Semitic tropes that J.K. Rowling was doing, making all the goblins be money misers and having them all have large noses? I think that one might be a bit of a stretch. I think we should ground our axioms on something that we know to be true. And it's as plain as day. It's right before us. It's in this tweet. J.K. Rowling is taking a stance, and that stance happens to be on the wrong side of history.
Did you enjoy what you just watched and now crave more Nectar of the Damned? Did you know that if you're watching on YouTube, you're only getting half the surfy experience? We upload all of our content commercial and censorship free to our Patreon. Due to the general demonetization of our videos, we now upload half of our original content directly to those who can help us produce this show. Want even more nectar than that? Well, come join us at twitch.tv/TheSerfsTV, where we do weekly live streams, debates, interviews, AMAs, and more. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can help support our show 100% free by subscribing to our Twitch channel. So come join us, be merry, and know that your support is helping us do great things.
Like
Ricky Pilgrim, I'm Raft, and Michaela Schmidt. You are the pillars of our organization. To our Knights of the Surf table, Paul Parfit, Daniel Kahn, Fair Tahan, Clement Chutzkoff, Schizosaurus, Josh Mickelson, Dr. Zayas, Cooper Pilot, Andre Lynn Epperly, Dylan Bith, Terry, Todd Buckingham, Jed Lewis, Todd Lajeunesse.